All right, so there is something happening out there in our solar system right now that is, well, it's pretty hard to explain. We're talking about an object from interstellar space called 3I/Atlas, and it's defying pretty much every scientific model we have. The data is so strange that it's forcing some of the world's top scientists to ask a question that feels like it's straight out of science fiction. Are we looking at a rock, or are we looking at a machine? And this is the quote from Harvard physicist Avi Loeb that really kicks the whole mystery into high gear. He's talking about a specific chemical compound that this object is spewing out into space, a compound that, frankly, has no business being there. It's a clue so jarring, so out of place, that it forces us to rethink everything we thought we knew about visitors from other stars. So, to be clear, we're not just talking about some minor weirdness here. This is a flat-out contradiction of cosmic chemistry as we know it, and that chemical signature is the first and maybe the most undeniable piece of the puzzle, telling us that something is fundamentally wrong with this picture. Okay, so let's get right into that undeniable piece of evidence, the impossible chemistry that the Keck Observatory in Hawaii picked up. This is really the scientific bedrock of this whole thing. The compound they detected is called nickel tetracarbonyl. Now, here on Earth, you don't just find this stuff lying around. We make it. In factories. It's used for things like high-tech metal coatings, aerospace stuff. It takes purified nickel, carbon monoxide, and very specific temperatures and pressures to create. There is just no known way for nature to cook this up in the cold vacuum of space. It just doesn't happen. And this slide right here just nails the problem perfectly. See, in the universe, nickel and iron are like chemical brothers. They're forged together in the hearts of supernovas. You always find them together, always. Finding one without the other is like finding water without any hydrogen in it. It's impossible. And yet, 3I/Atlas is puffing out about 4 grams of pure nickel every second, with 0 detectable iron. Not a little bit, 0. That's a chemical fingerprint that just shouldn't exist in nature. But here's the thing. The crazy chemistry, that's just the start of it. The object's physical behavior, how it's actually moving and acting, it's also breaking the basic rules that are supposed to govern comets. So, quick refresher, Comet Physics 101. It's super simple. A comet gets near the sun, it heats up, and the solar wind pushes gas and dust off of it. This creates the tail, and that tail always points away from the sun. It doesn't matter where the comet's going, the tail points away from the sun. It's a fundamental law. But 3I/Atlas, yeah, it's not playing by the rules. For a while, observations confirmed that it had a jet of material firing directly toward the sun. Think about that for a second. That's unheard of. It completely defies the physics of solar radiation. It behaves less like a passive melting snowball and more like something with a controlled directional thruster. Then there's its trajectory. You'd expect interstellar visitors to come at us from, wherever. Random directions, random angles. But this thing, it cruised into our solar system nearly flat, almost perfectly lined up with the plane where all our planets orbit. The odds of an interstellar object just happening to arrive on that specific path by chance? Less than 1 in 500. It's like it knew exactly where the party was. And when you start stacking up all these weird details, a really bizarre picture starts to form. First, the heat problem. It's outgassing like crazy as if it's super hot, but when we look at it in infrared, it's actually extremely cold. That doesn't make sense. Second, the mass problem. All that outgassing should be pushing it like a tiny rocket engine, but its path isn't changing. That implies it's incredibly massive and dense, way more than a comet should be. And finally, the kicker, if you trace its path backward through space, it comes from the same little patch of sky as the famous WOW signal from 1977, that powerful, unexplained radio blast that's still our best candidate for an alien message. Any one of these things would be weird. All of them together, that demands a better explanation. Which brings us to, and honestly, this is probably the most maddening part of this whole story, the crucial evidence from its recent flyby of Mars that nobody is showing us. Okay, so check out this timeline. On October 3rd, 3I/Atlas flew right past Mars, a golden opportunity to get a really good look at it. The European Space Agency released a few, blurry, low-res images, but NASA, which had its incredible high-res camera pointed right at the thing, has released absolutely nothing. They're just citing vague processing delays. It's been weeks now, and the world is still waiting. And this is the real kicker. High-res isn't just any old camera. This is the most powerful camera we've ever sent to another planet. It can spot an object the size of a kitchen table on the surface of Mars from orbit. It is the one instrument that could tell us if 3I Atlas has a shape, if it's geometric, if it's anything other than a lumpy rock. That data exists. So the question we all should be asking is, what did it see? So you know what happens when there's an information vacuum, right? Speculation rushes in. And with no official data, a pretty radical hypothesis has started to bubble up, fueled by observations from amateur astronomers. And this is where the theory takes a wild turn. But it's a turn that kind of follows the breadcrumbs of the evidence we do have. The question has shifted from just, what is this thing, to what did this thing do? Was this just a passive flyby? Or was this an operational maneuver? Did it drop something off? And these reports are what's fueling that idea. Now, to be crystal clear, none of this is officially verified. These are from amateur sky watchers. But the pattern is, well, it's compelling. Right after the flyby, people started reporting weird lights blinking on and off in Mars orbit, objects moving in coordinated geometric patterns, strange radio signals that don't match any known satellite. And the timing is impossible to ignore. All of it started after 3I Atlas passed by. And all of this leads us right to this very moment, to today, October 29th, 2025. The object has just entered the most critical and most revealing phase of its entire journey, and it's happening completely in secret. Right now, as we speak, 3I/Atlas is at perihelion. That's its closest point to the sun. This is the moment of maximum stress, maximum heat. If it's a comet, this is when it would be at its most violent and active, the moment it would really show its true nature. And it's happening in what scientists are calling a clandestine window, totally hidden from all of our telescopes by the sun's glare. The timing is, to put it mildly, remarkable. So this is it. The moment of truth is coming. Avi Loeb has basically laid out that it can go one of two ways when it reappears in a few days. Scenario 1, it comes out the other side looking beat up, maybe fragmented, acting like a weird comet that just survived a tough journey. Mystery solved, it's just a strange rock. Scenario 2, it emerges perfectly intact, maybe even with a slightly changed trajectory that natural forces can't explain. If that happens, well, that's pretty much confirmation of technology. And then everything changes. And let's not pretend this is just some academic curiosity. The stakes are huge. Loeb has gone on record saying that if this object pulls off a maneuver after passing the sun, the impact on society could be seismic. He literally predicts the uncertainty alone could crash global financial markets. And that's not hyperbole. That's a serious assessment of what happens when humanity's entire context in the universe gets flipped upside down overnight. So that's where we are, left with this one final defining question. In just a few days, when 3I/Atlas comes back into view, what are we going to see? Will it be the fading tail of a natural, albeit very weird comet heading back out into the void? Or will we see a machine, its clandestine solar maneuver complete, just beginning its work in our solar system? We just have to wait and watch the sky.